I say we just let him sleep.
Yeah, Rick's peaceful. Matt,
This is when I like him best. Is when he's not talking.
Time to get ready for school.
We'll wake him up. Matt, can you hear
Matt,
us?
get up, boy.
Oh, what's going on, guys? I must have been watching Richmond. Oh, man.
You sleep when you're dead.
Oh, man, I guess we will. And we got a show to do, don't we? Oh, let's go ahead and get into it. This is a production of ITM Media. Yes, everybody, Richmond was a snooze fest, to say the least. I cannot say any more than that. I was hoping for a better intro, but Charlie and Austin made me crack there. They just, I couldn't hold it together. It was just really funny stuff. Hello, everyone. Matt Beamer here alongside Charlie Hercus. Austin Reeves joining us back again here this week for another episode of Ramblin about Racing. Gentlemen, how's everything going out there for you guys?
It's going good. I had to miss last week's episode due to internet connections. I say internet. I put a red and burgundy little 83 on the side of my computer, and ever since then it hasn't ran right. So,
oh no, man!
Yeah, I snatched it off last week.
Okay.
Been working fine ever since.
Well, it's good to hear, man. Well, how's your wife doing? How's the pregnancy coming? Not long now. What, October?
Middle of October.
Yeah. Holy cow! So you have about 2 more months until you have 2 new babies in the world, a boy and a girl, and life as you know it will change.
Yeah. They went last week. My son is a pound 12 ounces and my daughter is a pound 9 ounces. So they started to put on a little bit of weight.
That will translate to your wife, and not in a bad way. Not in a bad way, but it'll be fun. It'll be fine. Everything will be good with that. And man, I'm looking forward to it, man. Looking forward for the pictures. Looking forward to everything when it comes to that. And Charlie, my amigo down there in South Alabama, how's it going with you, bud?
Going good. So just trying to get ready for another race weekend in about a week and a half or so. We had 3 weeks off. They changed the race schedule up a little bit, so we'll see how that goes. We'll have all 8 races or all 8 classes racing that next race, so it'll be a long night for sure. Just trying to prepare for Talladega more or less, So looking forward to that weekend. It's going to be upon us before we know it. So looking for. I actually texted Howie just a few minutes ago to make sure nothing's changed on his end, and it's still going to be. He's still going to be running the Xfinity race, so waiting for a response there. I'm sure he's a busy person, so maybe everything's good there, and looking forward to maybe meeting him in person, whatnot, and we'll see what happens. But I'm sure all 3 of us plus Eddie's going to have a great time that weekend, and we'll see what happens. So
that's going to be my last weekend of freedom. So.
Yeah,
if y'all don't send me out with a bang, you ain't true friends.
Yeah, Austin's going to have to live it up that weekend. So
all right, well, we got to top my bachelor party. And my bachelor party, to say the least, we had a pretty good time.
Yeah, so I only got 2 more races left in this season, so we got to make some stuff happen. So it was a good race last race. Had some stuff cost me a better finish, but it happens. So.
Well, I'm glad everything is going well, man. Hello to everyone out there watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Glad you're joining us. Drop us a comment down there. Let us know who you are, where you're from. If this is your first time watching, second time watching, or 143rd time, I wouldn't say watching, but listening to the show. And if you're on your regular podcast platform, B.U.R.N.S Radio, really do appreciate you guys taking the time to show up here and tune in. Everything's fine on my end. Finally get to go back to work Thursday. Can't wait for that. I've been missing work since the 1st of August because of the stitches. The stitches are all out. It's healing up fine. Get to go back to work Thursday. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing my friends there at the old firehouse. I'm glad you guys are doing well, man. And we might as well just hop into it. When you guys
not going to be a lot to cover. Let's face it.
Let's just say this is going to be, I think, more of a bashing episode than I feel of anything, especially with the races that we saw at Richmond. I only caught the Cup race, and when I say I caught the Cup race, I was watching my daughter. My wife took a nap, and I slept through a lot of the Cup race. There wasn't really much going on. A few cautions here and there, but overall, we again see another issue with the short track racing, not only for the Cup Series, but more importantly, this Gen 7 car. What were you guys' takeaway or initial takeaway and overall opinion of this weekend? I'm going to start off with Austin since he didn't join us last week. What do you think of this last weekend there, Austin?
I don't know. I slept through half of the race. I caught stage 1 in the last 30 laps. But I heard it was a snooze fest. Like normally the highlight reel after the races, like on Sunday afternoon, Monday morning, like 5 minutes long on Facebook or something. I think this was like 2 minutes. Yeah, literally nothing happened.
It was boring. It was a boring race. And once again, Richmond didn't deliver, which leads me to think what's going to happen with Bristol coming up here during the playoffs, especially what's going to happen with Martinsville. I don't think we're going to see a big repeat like we saw earlier in the year with Martinsville, but it still worries me to the point where I think the short track racing, especially at the Cup level with this Gen 7 car, we're going to see some bad things coming down the pipe here. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm thinking it's not going to be good. What needs to change? I don't know what needs to change. This wasn't a track issue. This was just a racing issue, I feel.
Well, I'll add on to it. I think it might be a track issue on certain tracks like Richmond. I don't think we've seen the best of racing in the past couple of years, so to speak, at Richmond. To whereas it wasn't so much a shocker at Richmond like it was a shocker at Martinsville. We did not expect that at Martinsville, whereas it was lackluster at Richmond in the spring, and then it was lackluster at Martinsville in the spring, and we were like, oh man, that was not what we expected, but we weren't as surprised when it was like that at Richmond. So I think Richmond may be due for, I hate to say it, but maybe Richmond's due for a little bit of a, I don't want to say a redesign, because there's not another track on the circuit that's like that. Bristol is pretty much the same on both ends. Martinsville is pretty much the same on both ends. I like Dover's layout because of the way the front straightaway is. The back stretch and getting into 1 and 2 is completely different than getting into 3 and 4. Just like getting out of 2 is completely different than getting out of 4. So if you try to change 1 and 2, it hurts you on 3 and 4. So it may be to where maybe you change the banking up a little bit, maybe a little bit of a progressive banking for, Richmond, or I don't know, but something's got to change for Richmond, or that track's going downhill quick. So,
well, we've seen good racing at Richmond in the past. So
absolutely.
I don't think it's necessarily the track, but ever since the Gen 6 car came in a few years, and this started a few years ago, I feel like with the introduction of the Gen 6 car into the Gen 7 car now, where not just Richmond, but Martinsville, Bristol hasn't been the same type of short track racing. Now, and here's my theory about this. It isn't necessarily the car, but it's a driver's mentality when they go there, especially with the new win and you're in format. Really, ever since the playoff format came in, especially now that we're in the win and you're in format. Because we saw 15 drivers out there who were locked into the playoffs. Everybody wants to win, but for the most part, everybody that is locked into the playoffs is trying to just bide their time and hold their position on the track and not really lose a lot. Just gain as many points as they can to buffer up their playoff points and buffer up their points in the playoffs. But ever since the winning your in format came into NASCAR, I feel like that has detrimentally hindered short track racing because they're not racing for the maximum amount of points anymore. They're just racing just to tick laps off and then finish up with the best finish they can, hopefully a win. And that's what I think is really been a detriment to short track racing is this winning your in format.
I'll throw this out there then. Maybe the win and you're in needs to be reformatted to where, yes, you get 16 spots into the playoffs, sure, but only the top 10 are win and you're in. All right. Yes, you may have more than 10 winners, sure, but that puts more emphasis on necessarily winning. Like, sure, you got, say, Chase Elliott with 4 wins. That would cushion his win and you're in. And you got a lot of people with just 1 in or 1 win and you're in. And that would put more emphasis on points and having to run a lot better. So your top 10 is win and you're in. Whereas then your next 5 is, yeah, they got wins, but, you know, now they're borderline. Their wins don't matter. Yes, you've won a race, but it doesn't matter because it goes back to point structure for those 5. So yes, you've won, but now it goes back to consistency. So yeah, you've won a race, but where have you been finishing for the rest of the season? You've lucked up and you've won one because, you know, we look at Ryan Blaney's points. If you go by point standings, so winning you're in based off of the amount of wins, top 10 people. All right. But 11th through 16th is straight point standings, like old school point standings. Like if you were going to pretty much battle it out from first race to the end of the season, where does everybody fall? Because if that was the case, Ryan Blaney would be sitting like second or third in points. So that would be where I would say, okay, well, hey, consistency gets 11th through 16th then, regardless if you look up and win a race, because you got people like Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman won a race, sure, but what have we seen out of him other than him winning a race? He really hadn't done a whole lot this year other than winning a race.
No.
Well, I mean, who's to say that format will work? I think they should just get rid of the formats in general because it was ever since really this winning your in format came into NASCAR that we've seen this, I feel like, downhill spiral of short track racing. The restrictor plate racing's there. It's great. The road course racing I hate to admit this, Charlie, but you may bring it up a lot. It is doing way better than it has ever in the past as far as viewership and racing on there for some reason. But the short track racing, I feel like the grassroots short track racing that NASCAR grew up on has suffered. And I really do believe it is because of this format change, because everybody wants to tiptoe. Everybody wants to finish well. Yeah, but either the cars are too stable. I mean, what they say, these cars are hard to drive. It didn't look like it was hard to drive this past weekend. It used to be in qualifying, you used to see people break loose and get loose, and it still happens. But I don't know, man. I just feel like it's either, and we've brought this up so many times on the show, both rambling about racing and when we were called in the marbles, that it was something wrong. Something's changed in the driver's mentality when it comes to short track racing. I don't know what it is. And if anybody out there wants to put in their 2 cents, let me know in the comments. But I don't know what has exactly changed, because short track racing is boring now.
Where they've corrected your mile and a half, they've taken away from short track. So if you look at Michigan last week or a week before last or whatever now, that was pretty decent racing overall. Used to, Michigan would have been boring as rip. Let's face it. Holding it wide open all the way around, a couple of years ago, that'd have been boring. But the fact that they have to hit their marks, let off, get back into the throttle, made it worth watching. and then they turn right around. They go into Richmond, and I watched maybe 40 laps into the second stage, and that was fast forwarding through a lot of it, and that was just trying to do that last night before I said, you know what, Emma, let's go to bed.
The only interesting thing that I saw was Ty Gibbs and Kyle Busch battling it out.
Yeah, and while we're on that, look, Ty was in the wrong on that one. 100% in the wrong.
I must have missed that. I must have been.
So Ty thought he was clear, come down onto Kyle Busch, and got mad. So then tried to lay the bumper to Kyle Busch afterwards and moved Kyle out of the way.
Man, bold.
Especially, punted him. Especially since, hey, you little shit, you're not even running for a points championship. You're filling a seat at this point. I suggest you cool it just a little bit. And
well, I mean, just based on that, I got to go back and watch it. But if you come down on someone, and
it was either at the end of the first stage or pretty close to the beginning of the second stage.
Yeah, I was asleep.
I think it was in stage one because I saw it.
Yeah,
I was asleep during both of those.
Yeah, it was. I got to defend Kyle Busch on this one.
That and Chastain claimed another one.
Yeah, he did.
He wrecked Kyle Busch.
Got Chastain. I love the fact that Kyle Busch. I'm telling y'all, with the way Kyle Busch is getting treated this year, like I've never been an advocate for Kyle Busch by no means, but I've slowly became or am becoming a Kyle Busch fan this year.
We might have to.
He's just laid back now.
He is, but you almost have to be. You almost have to be just because you're like, all my sponsors are jumping on, all the people that have been on my car since I have drove for Joe Gibbs Racing since 2005, 2006.
More than like 2008, I feel.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
We're close.
Are now on Truex's car. And now Truex has already had a contract extension, but I'm not getting anything, and I'm a two-time defending champion. So what exactly is going on here? So I hate it for the guy. I do. So I am slowly becoming a supporter of him. Like I hope the best for him. I really hope he pretty much tells Gibbs to shove it and he goes somewhere else this year and then outperforms them next year.
Yep, true. And so it sounds like to me two things. One, we need to buy a Kyle Busch flag when we go to Talladega.
Absolutely. I will be all for that.
We could do that and put it up on the whole setup. And two, I mean, to me, that just based on what you guys were saying, like I said, I didn't see the incident because it was such a boring race, in my opinion, that I didn't even bother it wasn't exciting. It wasn't edge of my seat sport track racing that I expect from NASCAR. That it was a racing incident. Ty Gibbs came down. Whoops, I wasn't clear. My bad. But why get mad at Kyle?
Yeah, because he thought that Kyle, I guess, moved him. And then, so he tried to retaliate and move Kyle. I'm like, somebody needs to be relaying a message to little silver spoon up his butt, boy.
Oh, speaking of that, I got something to say. I was listening to the Dale Jr. download when Ty Gibbs was on there, and that's what a lot of people said. He said he's taking a lot of heat because of Silver Spoon, and he said, no, that doesn't bother me anymore because, I earned everything. It's like, come on, man.
You didn't.
Nobody
knew who you were until you were running for a Gibbs car in the Xfinity series. Nobody knew who you were.
His only excuse was, well, I just started asking, didn't your mom buy you food? Didn't your mom buy you a car? I'm like, that's not the same, dude.
Ty Gibbs, I mean, my gosh, I thought that episode would have changed my whole opinion about Ty Gibbs and his mindset. And it just made me realize he's not only a 19-year-old punk, he's a 19-year-old punk with a silver spoon up his rear end.
I mean, look, does the kid have some talent?
Oh, yeah,
sure.
he does. Absolutely.
Like you have to have some level of talent to still wheel these things around the track. Like they don't drive themselves. All right, I will say that. But at the same time, if we were to take Corey LaJoie and put him in a Gibbs car, who's to say he wouldn't be up front every week?
He'd be top 10 every week.
So take your equipment and set it to the side. Let's take Gibbs and let's put him in Corey LaJoie's car and see how he does.
Or we could say the same thing about a lot of drivers out there.
Yeah,
Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I would go right back to
equipment. I mean, you're right. The talent is there for Ty Gibbs, but he's still 19. I can admit right now, and Austin, you're not too far from 19. When you were 19, and I'll tell you how my experience was when I was 19. Did you think you knew it all and, it's nothing could touch me and nothing could stop me? Blah, blah, blah.
Nope, never. No.
Okay, well then never mind. Charlie, when you were 19, did you think you had it all together?
Absolutely not.
Fine, I'll say it. I did. I was 19 years old in the Marine Corps on my own in Japan. Man, I got this stuff. And then, you come to realize that you don't after a few swift kicks in the rear end from a few older gentlemen. And it's not hazing. You can't use the word hazing in the Marine Corps anymore.
No, you can't use that military word anymore.
You can't use military word. Back in 2004, 2005, yeah, you were not hazed. You were motivated to do whatever.
You were welcomed.
You were up to the fleet and you knew your place fast.
Yeah.
Ty Gibbs doesn't have that. Ty Gibbs, I feel like, is just one of those guys. He does have a silver spoon up his. He has been given a lot. If Rick Hendrick was my grandfather and I said, "Hey, Papa Hendrick, I want to race cars," you know what he's going to say? We could hook you up with the best late models, the best Xfinity, the best truck, and the best cup cars that money can buy. And if you don't make it out there, you just aren't meant to be a race car driver.
Yeah, sounds like my grandfather.
I mean, that's exactly how it is. And Ty Gibbs going on the Dale Jr. download. And as much as I'd like to cheer for the guy, I don't. I wish somebody
round track racing.
I wish somebody would recommend the wall. And I hope Kyle Busch is that guy that next week, if Kurt isn't cleared to go race Watkins Glen, and I hope Kurt is cleared to go race Watkins Glen. I want to see Kurt Busch back in the race car. That somebody just schools him. I don't care who it is. I tell you what, I'm going to put a bounty out there. Whoever wrecks Ty Gibbs on purpose at Watkins Glen, I'll buy all their gear.
Or hope the one car ain't around him for a win.
No, the Chastain will wreck him. I'll probably Chastain.
Shoot, you better hope me and Charlie don't land a ride on Cup. We'll do it.
Better hope somehow or another going in to turn one that I don't land a ride. And Matt Beamer says, "I'll buy all your merchandise because, hey, people buying your merchandise, you guarantee more rides."
That's right. And I'll buy out.
And if I take out Ty Gibbs, you best believe there's going to be a lot of people buying Charlie Hercus merchandise.
What's the first thing you would say out of the car for an interview? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Well, I have to thank all my sponsors, which would be absolutely nobody on the car. But
Mr. Hercus, what went wrong? What caused you to take Ty Gibbs?
The pedal got soft.
I'll tell you straight up, and I really hope, and I don't like this from NASCAR drivers. We talked about this. We hinted about this on the show, how Formula One's different than NASCAR, where Formula One will say, "What happened out there?" and be like, "Oh, the guy's an idiot," and they'll do all this stuff. But NASCAR will go, "I don't know what happened, but the Old Spice Chevrolet did run good all day up until that point." It's like, quit saying sponsors. If it was me
at that point in time, Austin or whoever would have already come down, like, toss me a beer. I'd have probably already smashed two of them by the time they made it to me.
That's right. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, just.
Well, see, and then I want to hear the driver go, "Yeah, I wrecked him, and I did it on purpose. What are you going to do about it?"
I'd be waiting for somebody in the stand. "Hey, driver, try these."
Shades of
we
Richmond.
we can make that happen here in October.
I'm just kidding.
We are not going to be awesome.
I had 2 round track shirts, one Austin Reeves and 2 Charlie Hercus. It says Charlie Hercus Racing and Austin Reeves Racing. So we're race car drivers. So
that's true. I'll
be sure to pack both of them.
I mean, that leaves me out. I mean, I need to make a special Matt Beamer rambling about racing driver. iRacing. I'll put iRacing there in small track.
You said you'd be in the tent for that part.
Anyway, moving on.
Deniability right there. That's plausible deniability right there. I want nothing to do with it. If your wife comes up to me and says, "What happened?" I'm like, I was sleeping. The heck
Austin's wife's got a twin too, by the way, because I saw her in Enterprise this morning, and I called Austin. I was like, "Is Caitlin in town?"
Literally 7:30 in the morning. Charlie never called me at 7:30.
No, absolutely not. Because I'm telling you, like, it was a spitting image other than her not being pregnant.
You should have got her name and number.
No, that's all right. I ain't worried about that.
Okay, I'm just going to throw a disclaimer out here.
So anyway, moving on.
We're about 25 minutes into this show right now.
And we have completely got way off topic.
And you want to know why? Because it was a snooze fest of a race. I didn't even watch the truck race this past weekend. I know Chandler Smith won that race.
Yep.
Yeah, Carson Hosevar got somebody else, wrecked somebody else.
Whoop-de-doo. And you know what?
Go figure.
Kevin Harvick finally came.
That's why he will not be in no junior motorsports car next year.
I hope nobody puts him in the 9 car.
Who's this?
Carson Hosevar.
Carson Hosevar, the 42 truck.
Oh, okay.
Motorsports.
Yeah, whatever. He's not. He's going to be yesterday's news. He was a flash in the pan. I feel like Carson Hosevar was a flash in the pan.
Now you may see Quapple. What's the younger? He's running one of the late models for Junior Motorsports right now.
I think I know who you're talking about. I think he's followed on Twitter.
Man, he's been running it. He's been pretty big in it since Josh Berry has been running a lot of Xfinity. I'm finna look it up real quick. Carry on.
Well, while we're doing that, we're pretty much just going to just free flow this episode because Richmond is a disappointing race. I really hope that Martinsville and Bristol shows it up. It's gotten so bad. Let's just say this. It's gotten
Carson Quapple. I don't know how you pronounce that really.
And we'll go with
Kvapil. So,
well, let's just say this. It got so bad with Bristol that during the spring race, they said, hey, you know what would be a good idea? We throw dirt on it.
Yeah.
The short track issue with NASCAR has gotten nothing but worse.
Which I will say, this past dirt race was a lot better than the first year's.
Well, they learned from what they had.
Which it was a completely different car. So
yeah, but they learned.
So everything they learned, they had to throw out the window because it's a new car.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's gotten to the point where they had to throw dirt on Bristol in order to make it even to save a second date for that track. I think they should limit all the short tracks to 1 now. I mean, I'm more than happy with having
one per year.
1 per year. I'm more than happy with having road course races on there if it produces good racing.
Yeah, I tell you, Watkins Glen is going to be good.
Watkins Glen is going to be good.
It's always good.
And the Roval is going to be good. The Roval's never failed to produce a bad race.
No, I agree with you 100% there. The Roval's always been good.
But I really feel like now, with how crappy the short tracks have been, either they fix the package, which is going to be tough to do because NASCAR is painting themselves in a corner with this car that they can't make many changes to it. That then, if somebody makes a change that's wrong to the car, they get fined and docked and practice.
I think you'll see. You won't see changes to the car. You'll see some tire changes that'll probably make a pretty big effect. I still fully think that they should go back, and we didn't. We brought this up in the group chat, but we didn't bring it back up on the episode of the fact that they should rearrange the stages. Like it should not be determine what the stages are going to be, what order they're going to be until like pre-race ceremony or what is it? Pre-race, festivities or whatever. Like that should be something they cover, and that'd give them a reason to tune in to pre-race. Like, hey, we're going to draw it. Like you have stage 1 is this many laps. Stage 2 is this many. Like, instead of short, long, we're gonna rearrange it. And you're gonna randomly pick. It may come out long, short, or it may come out short, long, short, or it may come out like it's been short, long. And it's up to everybody to make the adjustments right then. Of hey, crew chiefs, right then, what are we going to do? Instead of having a week to plan, I think it would be a game changer right then. I think it would throw a curveball to everybody. You got about an hour tops, maybe an hour, probably 30, 40 minutes to
make the crew chiefs think a hell of a lot.
Absolutely. Like, you wouldn't have a week to plan. Like, hey, what are we going to do? Like, instead of a 60 lap run right here, well, now we're about to go out there and make a 120 lap run, and then we're going to have 2 60 lap runs or whatever. So I think that would be a great idea.
Why not just get rid of stage racing altogether? Why not just do that? Because then what that
only because I've grown fond of stage racing just for the sheer fact of it. Okay, well, fine, get rid of stage racing, but do it like what the Southern Super Series does. Is if you run so many consecutive green laps, caution.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that whatsoever.
Well, then run stage races, because if not, you're going to have nothing but green flag races, and it's going to be nothing but boring ass races all the time.
We've seen green flag races in the past, and they're far and few between. Far and few.
Absolutely not. They are more common than none. Just like this past weekend, it was nothing but green. It was green flag, green flag, green flag. They made green flag pit stops at Richmond.
I think they should have ran the race at night of Richmond.
It may not have stopped them from making green flag pit stops, though. When you start making green flag pit stops at a short track,
no, you're right. It was like Martinsville.
Then there's a problem.
I think there's a short track issue, not that. But here's what I don't like about the stage racing, and I feel like this episode should be Down the Rabbit Hole Part 2, because Richmond was such a crap show. That the problem with stage racing now is it's taken away from the All-Star race. The All-Star race isn't special anymore, because that used to be the only race where we saw stage racing. And now that we have the All-Star race at Texas, which is a bust in my opinion, hopefully they'll change it next season. It's just another race. It's just no points are awarded, and the winner gets $1 million.
I'd like to see the All-Star race at Dover.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that whatsoever.
That'd be a great race.
Or the Roval.
Yeah, it wouldn't be horrible. I just think I don't know. I think there's a lot of emphasis on Charlotte as it is. So
I like Charlotte. Well, I like Charlotte. I'm very fond of the Charlotte Motor Speedway. But yeah. Hey, Kevin Harvick won. Congratulations to him. I think he's shown his muscle here with 2 in a row. 2 weeks ago. I mean, well, no, it wasn't. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Kevin Harvick. Could he even make the playoffs? And now he's locked in after 2 wins in a row here. Chris Buescher, I was hoping he'd be the Cinderella story of the day. Wasn't meant to be, but it showed his.
Keselowski ran up front quite a bit.
Ended up finishing 15th there for Keselowski there.
Green flag pit stops is what got him the dang green flag run. See, if he'd had a couple cautions there, it probably would help.
Yeah, true. But it is what it is there. Richmond was, let's just say we'll ride off into the sunset with Richmond and leave it behind us. Hopefully changes will be made in 2023 for Richmond. I'm glad that wasn't the cutoff rate.
It's that dang track president. She don't know crap about no dang racing. She ain't going to make no changes.
Okay. Well, then we'll ask this question. If you were track president of Richmond, what would you do to that track to fix it? Go, awesome. Charlie. No, go, Charlie. Go, Charlie. Charlie, if you were track president, I'll tell you what I would have done if I was.
What out in your control?
Yeah. Now, let's say you can't touch the cars. You can't touch the sanctioning body. You can only say that I'm the president of this track. I can make 2 changes to this track to make it hopefully a better show and experience for fans. what are the two things you would do? I'll tell you what I would have done if I was selected as track president for Richmond International Raceway, which I wasn't, but I'll tell you what I would have done.
Okay, tell us.
Go Charlie. Go Charlie. You were saying you was track president. What changes would you have made?
I'm gonna go exact opposite of what I said earlier. Now that I've been thinking on it, and I'm gonna say take all the banking out and make it a flat track.
Dang, man, you took mine.
Yep, I say leave the design of it and the layout of it the exact same, but make it a flat track.
Kind of like a shorter New Hampshire then.
Yep, except nothing like New Hampshire because the front straightaway is curved.
You know what I meant. No,
absolutely not, because New Hampshire's pretty well like a really big mile. But anyway, I kind of knew what you meant, but not what you meant.
Bring up my little list right here.
Oh, okay. You're reading off of something. Whatever, man. That don't even count.
He just Googled top.
Yeah, he Googled like top 5 thing of what top 5 reasons Richmond or top 5 things that should be changed at Richmond per Google.
No, what he did when he sent.
I don't even trust your notes.
I don't care.
He read everybody else's changes.
Yeah, see, you didn't send show notes to us for us to verify that this is what.
First of all,
absolutely not.
First of all, we don't do show notes whatsoever. Do you want to start that, Charlie? By all means, you could contribute to the show more so than you do. Second of all, this has already gone off the beaten path here. This has already gone enough. We've already talked about the races. Now we're just BSing about racing. This guy, shut up, Charlie.
We got to get Charlie to show up on time before he can do anything else. When he starts showing up on time.
First off, I was pooping and I proved it to you.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, we're off the rails right now. Every time. Okay, so here's one of the two.
Look, picture. I'm just kidding.
Please don't do that. Oh, my goodness, man. So here's one of the two changes I would have made. Instead of reconfiguring the track totally, I would have repaved it. For one, and the other, I would have for fans. I would have made ticket sales cheap, less expensive.
That doesn't help gas prices. I mean, you can buy cheap tickets, but gas prices are still ridiculous.
What are you gonna do? Drop the gas in the city?
Oh my gosh. Okay,
we'll just throw dirt on it.
I'm sorry, Richmond was still boring.
Yeah, Richmond was boring regardless. It wasn't the track president's fault. Let's just say if it would have been me there, you would have said, "Why was the racing sucky there?" Like, I don't know, talk to NASCAR.
At least I'd have had a contact line, a direct contact line to do a whole lot of complaining.
Well, if NASCAR would have picked me, you would have been able to complain. But guess what? NASCAR didn't pick me.
It wasn't up to NASCAR. It was up to Richmond. Or it was up to whoever. I don't think it was NASCAR.
I applied under the NASCAR website for that job.
They were just a link.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Well, then it's strictly up to NASCAR what goes on at Richmond.
But it has nothing to do with the racing. When it comes to the racing, there were two factors, I feel, the car and the track. And I don't feel like it was the track as much as it is the car. But the racing has been kind of bad the past couple of years too. But the car completely changed this year from what it was the last couple of years. Yeah, we were promised a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow with this Gen 7 car, and we've gotten crapped on a few times, I feel. It just hasn't been what NASCAR hasn't delivered on it. Let's say that. They sold a great. I think they should drive Richmond backwards. That wouldn't help. Why not? Okay. Well, tell me your 2 cents on that one, Charlie. Why would driving backwards at Richmond help? When's the last time you literally have to drive backwards? The car.
Like everything you know about turn left, throw it out the window.
Yep. Or do a figure 8.
Oh God.
No. Chastain would win that one every time.
I'm about to say, if we're going for destruction points, Chastain all the way. He's winning.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to fix Richmond. I don't know what's going to fix.
I don't think anybody knows what's going to fix Richmond right now.
I feel like we've talked about it till we're blue in the face here on the show about short tracks, about everything when it comes to that. And until NASCAR realizes or listens, I don't know if they've listened to our podcast, but until they realize and sit down and listen to our podcast and do stuff, I mean, I really think the fan council, they're going to get its rude awakening. It was boring. It was a snooze.
It was boring. It definitely was. It was no different than a spring race, if not worse.
It's sad to say that about a short track. I feel like the spring race was
especially Richmond, because Richmond is one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah, it is, and it would be like us going to Talladega, and I know what's going to happen there anyway. But I know it's going to be like us going to Talladega, them getting single file and running the top line the whole time.
Why are you gonna jinx it though?
You want to know why? Because the last time I was at Daytona for the 500, that's the same thing.
Which was not this year; it was last year.
But it still happened. It still happened, man.
Oh. Regardless if they run single file, we're still going to have a blast.
Absolutely. You want to know why?
Why?
We're going to be sober.
I like the way it says the Bush Latte.
It really does. It says Bush Latte.
Oh, Maston switched up on us.
Yeah, you did.
Well, they didn't want to sponsor our podcast.
Oh yeah, I need to find me a different beer. They didn't even like my tweet.
You know what? Corona Premier it is.
Keystone.
We might become
Keystone
amigos. We might become amigos.
The Sakis.
Oh, I'm gonna have one of them Corona Ritas right here with a little straw.
Hey, Coronas, man, those are good beers.
I like those Premiers.
I like Coronas, man. Maybe Corona will.
We might come Daniel's amigos.
Hey, I don't mind being.
We'll go old school. We'll get Budweiser.
No, I need to go to work the next day.
No, I don't want to. That sucks, Charlie.
What?
Why would you not take leave the day after a race?
I did take leave the day after the race. I'm just talking about when we do this show and we're drinking Budweiser heavies.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Use some common sense when we're talking about this kind of stuff.
Easy. He grew up in Dothan.
My gosh.
Well, I grew up everywhere. I mean,
Northview High School graduate.
I mean, we are talking about the dude who wore flip-flops to a round track race. Just throwing that out there.
That's true. That's true.
No offense.
Right.
No, man.
Definitely was not helping get my car back out there for sure.
What do you want me to do, Charlie? What do you want me to do?
I mean, you are our number one sponsor, and you weren't even on the car helping put the chain on.
I know.
If Jason Jeff came up to me and said, "Put the chain back on my parker, Charlie," I don't know what I'm doing. It's like Charlie editing the podcast. I'm rocking away. I'm done. And then your mom comes up and says,
Not real sure what to do with my hands.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a regular listener of Ramblin' About Racing, our show, the show we've created over the years, this isn't your normal show, obviously. Because
Racin's already been covered. It was crap fest at Richmond between the truck and Cup Series. Other than Chandler Smith and Kevin Harvick winning, that was it. Show covered. Kevin Harvick has found his momentum. He has peaked. Chandler Smith won, and Grant Enfinger finished fourth. Proud for that. Yep. That's my boy.
How did Majeski do?
He had a freaking stout truck, but I'm not sure where he wound up finishing. He led a lot of laps, but not sure where he finished.
Let's find out here.
I'm telling you, Jesse's going to be like Late Miles. Once he figures it out, he's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, I thought he had a truck to win.
Time Majeski. 1 second here. I'll find out exact. Finish the third.
Okay.
Ain't too bad.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about Watkins Glen now.
Okay. All right.
Whoa, before we get to that, did y'all see where Noah's going to the 42 next year? Cup round?
Yeah. Did see that. Yeah. He is officially with Petty GMS Racing into 42 with Eric Smith staying in the not Eric Smith,
Jones.
Eric Jones staying in the 43. Where I got Smith.
I kind of would have rather seen him go to the 8 car. But
that's not until
yeah, it's not until 24.
I know.
And
I'm proud of him either way.
Yeah, I think he's going to do good there.
Well, that whole team has turned around. Eric Jones is having a very good year.
Yeah, he's having a very consistent year
compared to. I mean, he did well
compared to last year.
Well, he did well at Gibbs when he was in the 20 car, and in Christopher Bell, we saw that writing on the wall very early.
Yep.
And Eric Jones, I mean, I saw him win the Southern 500 a couple of years ago, so he's a good driver. What was that?
I'm
pretty sure things got a silent mode on it. I'm not 100% sure.
I hit the wrong button. I'm a rookie. I didn't mean to. I promise you.
Oh my goodness.
Can't edit that one out.
Can't edit that one out. Might as well keep it in. But yeah, I think
rookies.
I think Noah Gregson's going to do well in that.
I think so too. Yeah.
In another silly season thing just gone off the map right there. So
yeah, I think
forward to it.
I think just having Noah go to Petty GMS is going to be a real big boost to that organization in general. Don't get me wrong. Eric Jones has been great for that organization, but I think having Noah on board too, more so than Ty, whatever his name is, Ty. I'm drawing a blank here. Ty Dillon. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, guys. I knew I had y'all on my show for some reason. Anyway, more so than Ty Dillon, I think having, Noah on there is going to be a big boost for those guys, and I think you're going to see big things out of them this coming year.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great move on them. We suspected it. We kind of wanted to see maybe a Kyle Busch there, but Noah Gragson is going to be well in that seat. He's going to do well. Watkins Glen coming up. Charlie, you and I have been to Watkins Glen, that famed racetrack. What are your expectations here for this weekend's race here for the Xfinity and Cup Series for Watkins Glen?
Yeah, I wish Watkins Glen was a playoff race. I really do.
Yeah.
Just for the pure fact of it being a great race-producing racetrack.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing Kimi Räikkönen out there. I really am. I want to see what he brings to the table.
Yeah, and on that note here, I found this stat here, or I found this little thing. History is going to be made this weekend.
Yeah, all the different countries.
There are going to be 7 different countries represented here for the Cup Series race. You got Kimi Räikkönen from Finland, Daniel Suarez from Mexico, Loris Heinzman from the Netherlands, Mike Rockefeller from Germany, Daniel Kvyat, which I haven't heard that name since Formula One, from Russia, going to be racing in there, Kyle Tilley from the United Kingdom, and everyone else from the United States. 7 different countries represented here. And I'm going to ask you guys this real quick. Out of that list right there, not including the United States drivers, but the drivers from the United Kingdom, Russia, Germany, the Netherlands, Mexico, and Finland, who does the best?
You got to are we counting regular Cup Series drivers?
We're counting we'll include everybody in that race. We'll include everybody. Who would be your top pick there out of that list?
I'm going to say the guy that's driving for Trackhouse.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 of them.
Which will be 2 of them, Kimi Räikkönen and
Suarez.
And I think Suarez is going to do the best out of
because he's got more of a feel for the car.
Yeah, he's won at Sonoma this past year.
Yeah, and I will say that I will give this car credit where it's due. I fully feel that because of this car is the reason why you see this stat right now.
I think
is how this car is designed and how it's laid out and all that is why you see this multicultural all this different. That was a big old word. I just used y'all. Make sure that's in the episode.
Okay.
All that anyway. And all the different countries and stuff like that, different drivers from all different levels of racing.
Yeah,
absolutely. In the Cup Series race this weekend at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, it's gonna be great to see.
I fully feel that's because of this next gen car. So props to NASCAR on that one. So they have definitely brought eyes in and people in from different parts of the world on that note. So if we took Daniel Suarez out of the equation,
okay, let's not count him. He's the Cup.
Since he's a regular and he's got a better feel for the car, I got to go with the Iceman.
Yeah,
I have to just for the sheer fact that he's in Trackhouse equipment. Yeah. And they've ran very. I mean, both Ross and Daniel have wins at road courses. They both have road course wins this year. So you can't count Kimi Räikkönen out. So and let's face it, he's a wheel man. I mean, he's good.
What did he used to drive?
Formula
One. Yeah, and I that's going to be interesting to see.
And he was my favorite person whenever he used to run in Formula One. He was who I pulled for.
Yeah, I like Kimi.
So,
but what about you, Austin? What do you expect to see from this weekend's race? And we also got the Indy Car race from Worldwide Technology Raceway.
That's going to be a good race. That's the shortest track, so that's going to be a great race.
It's a flat 1.5 mile track. It's going to be fun. I can't wait for that.
There's going to be some wrecks in that race.
Well, it's not even that. It's just I like IndyCar on oval, period. So it's going to be fun to see.
Jimmy Johnson wins it.
Oh, okay. Well, there's your IndyCar pick right there. Austin, what do you think about this weekend's Cup and Xfinity race from Watkins Glen? What do you expect to see? What do you hope to see from it?
I think it's going to be good. Turn one's kind of tricky because it's downhill, braking into the right? Correct?
You're correct.
So
you're correct. Good guess, but you're correct.
Thanks for having my back, buddy.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good race.
Yeah, I think it will be a good race as well. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to seeing what Kimi Räikkönen and all these other guys, Daniel Kvyat, do in this race. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Can't wait to see it. It's going to be, I think it's going to be one of the better races we've seen for the last couple weeks up until next week's race. Not this week's race, but the next week's race at Daytona, where it's the final race of the regular season, into the Southern 500, into Bristol, into Talladega, into all those races coming up here. It's going to be a fun weekend of racing. I'm going to go ahead and read you the schedule here for this weekend. Saturday, August 20th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on USA will be the Watkins Glen race for the Xfinity Series. And Sunday, August 21st at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on USA, the race for the Cup Series from the Watkins Glen Raceway. Let me get you the schedule here for the IndyCar race, which will be from the Worldwide Technology Center Racing, August 20th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So a night race on USA, and that will be for the IndyCar series. We already heard Charlie's pick for the IndyCar race. What about your pick?
I can't believe I picked him either, but hey, he's been running good on the oval courses the past couple, so he gets it done.
All right. Xfinity and Cup race winners for you, Charlie, Austin, all three. We'll start off with Charlie to finish up the Cup and Xfinity race. Who do you have winning this weekend?
And Xfinity on the road course at Watkins Glen. This is a playoff race for them. Am I wrong?
No, I think you are wrong here. Let me confirm here. No, the round of 12 starts in Texas for them. So
okay. So
season.
Give me just a second. Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, Austin. What about you?
Indy Car, Scott Dixon.
All right, good pick.
I'm gonna say Josh Berry. Finally picks him up a red course win. Cup race. I'm gonna say Ryan Blaney figures out how to get a win at a road course and locks himself in.
Very nice, man. Charlie, you ready, or you want me to go?
Yeah, I'll go. As much as I hate to say it, the Dinger gets it done for the Xfinity Series. You can pick him too.
Oh, I can't pick him.
Why?
He doesn't like the double pick.
It's just uncouth.
Well, whatever. Be a baby then. The Dinger gets it done for the Xfinity Series. Cup Series. Man, oh man. So, Cup Series.
No pressure.
Yep, no pressure for me on the Cup Series. I go with
I was thinking the same
thing. I'm trying to find the actual entry list.
All right, I'll go ahead and pick.
Yeah, go ahead and go.
For the Indy Car race, he's won for the past 2 times out of the past 3 seasons. Joseph Newgarden wins. Xfinity race, Daniel Hemrick, I feel like is going to win. And instead of Ryan Blaney there for you, I guess I'm going to have to go with someone who we won't even think about, but will throw a wrench in the playoffs here. And that will be Eric Jones.
It's not a bad pick.
Pretty solid. Solid picks.
I think he will do well there.
All right. So my Cup pick would be Brad Keselowski.
I figured you went with Martin Truex. I just had a feeling you to pick him.
No, Martin Truex, man. Something's up with him this season. I don't know what it is with Martin Truex Jr., but something's up with him.
Yeah. No, Brad, since he secured him a ride next year, playoff or not this year, he's got a ride next year. So Brad Keselowski gets in.
All right, Brad Keselowski it is. Gentlemen, anything else before we get into our final thoughts here on the show? Fantasy standings this week in NASCAR.
No, sir.
Nope.
All right, well, let's get into our final thoughts here.
White flag, white flag. White flag, white flag. White flag. 1 lap to go. 1 lap right here.
Final thoughts here on this episode of Ramblin' About Racing. If you stay tuned for this long, I really do appreciate it, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. Really do appreciate it. Or if you're listening on your regular podcast platform, really do appreciate it as well. Kind of a unconventional show for us because we're used to talking about racing and stuff, but we didn't really much talk about the races there from the Richmond International Raceway, and that was for good reason. And I just hope that one day they'll fix it. I just really hope one day they'll fix it.
Maybe.
We'll see about that. But Charlie, what do we got here for? You want to go with fantasy standings first, or you want me to go with this week in NASCAR first?
Go with this week in NASCAR.
All right, this week in NASCAR, August 21st, 1962, Richard Petty wins the 100-mile race at Spartanburg's Hub City Speedway. This is the 6th consecutive victory for Petty Enterprises' Plymouth team. Teammate Jim Pascal has won 2 of the races, while Richard Petty has bagged 4 wins during the streak. And that happened August 21st, 1962.
1962?
1962 in the world of NASCAR. And Charlie.
All right, hang on.
Fantasy standings from this past week at Richmond. I don't think I did that well. I'm not really doing so well in the fantasy standings. Oh, well.
Hang on, 1962.
Here we go.
Is it this week? Or is it like the same date?
It's this week.
Ah.
Okay, what do you got? Do you have something more interesting than Petty Enterprises?
No, I'm just looking here. August.
This guy. Would you like me to read?
Today's the 15th, 16th.
16.
So I was just saying that would have been a Thursday. I was just looking to look back in the day when they were racing more than just Sundays, and they're racking up all these wins, and he supposedly has multi wins, all these wins. Not taking away 7 championships, whatever, but
and 7 Daytona 500s.
All these wins, but whatever. And anyway, all right. Overall league standings.
All right.
Still sitting first with 4,385 points. My league grew a little bit over this weekend, surprisingly, because I thought the race started a lot later, so I did not even watch it. Like, it was over before I looked at Facebook and saw Harvick won. I was like, oh, I hope my fantasy did not take a hit. Luckily, I actually grew my lead a little bit. I am closer to 300 points now than a lead than I am anything. So second is Super Sumo 32 at 4,149. Third, SMR Operations 4,147. Third, S Blades. No, I'm sorry. Third is SMR Operations 4,147. Fourth, S Blades 4,144. Fifth, Matt Camper 4,138. Sixth is SMR R&D 4,123. So, guys, look, second through sixth is a very, very tight battle. So, seventh is our lovely co-host here, Matt, with 3,762 points. Eighth is Smoking Woody with 3,405, and we're not even going to read off the rest because I'm pretty sure they quit playing.
All right, fair enough, man. Fair enough. All right, well, like I said, unconventional show here this week on Ramblin' About Racing, so sorry about that if you're used to listening to us talk, but we did ramble about racing.
We did.
That's kind of
we did. We rambled a lot about racing. And,
that's right, we did.
And other topics, and rambled about our, Talladega visit in October, which I am looking so forward to.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun.
All my stuff's on the back porch, ready to go. I just got.
Yeah, I got it.
I got it out of the shed to make sure I had everything in the tub. That
I need to go get me a pair of blue jeans and cut them off above the knees.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like if you're not wearing cut off
snakeskin boots and cut
bikini,
off
cut off at like the bikini cut off jeans with the pockets hanging out with your cowboy boots, dude. I'm not going with y'all.
I bet you $100 you won't wear that.
I bet.
I bet you I won't wear that.
He didn't say how long. He just said, bet I don't wear it.
Oh, no. You got to wear it the whole race.
Oh, man. No,
hey, you got to wear that crop top T-shirt you got.
I burned these. Oh, my Hooters shirt.
Oh, my gosh.
It says Owls.
Let's just say we're going to pinpoint our exact location on the map. Come party with Ramblin' About Racing. You might be on a clip it of a show.
Guarantee you will not.
Yep. Pretty sure we will make the Jumbotron.
Like you won't regret coming to our campus.
You won't regret it whatsoever.
At all.
Gentlemen.
No, absolutely not.
Gentlemen, anything else before we wrap up this week's episode?
No, it's been fun.
I do. Gotta give a shout out to my uncle. Happy anniversary. I sent him to the buyback check this day a year ago. So
oh, okay then.
Yeah, buyback's that one.
Buyback, you can go up the steps to the left, see the lady, she'll put you back in. So
ooh.
That's my dad and my uncle I've beat, so I'm retired now. I don't want to be anybody else.
All right, well, congratulations there on that one, Austin. But anything else?
On the second round, right?
Yes, second round.
Okay, doesn't matter. Win's a win. But anything else, guys?
No, I mean, you can only buy back the second round. That's what we were saying.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Charlie don't do that. We've had to teach him.
Yeah, I'm still trying to make a couple races this year, so Jerry let me drive his truck. He said he was going to let me drive this year, so he did say he was going to let me drive this year. So I might still have a shot at making my drag racing debut this year.
All right, well, definitely live stream it. Really would appreciate that.
Good things these things don't have chains on them, or you wouldn't be making a debut.
With Charlie's,
they do have timing chains, but
yeah, that's my thing. They do have a chime.
Yeah, one of them some bitches go though. It's go woo. Bad day, son.
All right, guys. Well, if you guys got nothing else, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here on this week's episode of Ramblin' About Racing. Thanks to you again so much for joining us, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, or if you're on your regular podcast platform. Really do appreciate it. I'd like to thank our partners for the show, Stand Up to Cancer and Fanatics, for all they do, not only for us here at Ramblin' About Racing, but for what they do for us on B.U.R.N.S Radio as well. If you want to, go to ramblinaboutracing.com to links to all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for the latest and greatest in the world of auto racing, and just to follow along with the show. For Charlie Hercus, Chuck 8384, Austin Reeves, Austin_Reeves6, I'm Matt Beamer, nbeamer22 on Twitter. Stay safe, and we'll see you following Watkins Glen. Have a good and safe week, ladies and gentlemen.